org. And you are in a treat for today, or you are in for a treat today, should I say. I want you to head on over to SuperTalk TV, or you can actually go to SuperTalk's Facebook page, and you'll get to meet my newest friend, Rocky the Reader. Yes, that's right. We've got Rocky in the house today. It's not what you think, so you got to go over and meet Rocky for yourself. Along with me and Rocky, we've got Monique. She's the Director of Education for the Mississippi Children's Museum, and they are taking Rocky's house on the road statewide to encourage early literacy by talking to your kids from the start.
That's right.
So let's get started. Who is Rocky who's joining us today?
Rocky is my special friend, and now yours too, Rebecca. He is a reading pup who loves to read, who loves to listen to stories being read to him. He loves to play with his friends, and he loves for grown-ups to talk to children.
Which is what the program Rocky's House is sort of all about. Now, before we get to the backstory, let's not keep folks waiting. What is the point of the traveling exhibit? What will Rocky's House do for the kids of Mississippi?
Sure. So the point of the exhibit is to simply aid adults in talking to and with children from birth. And so what children will get out of this is an increased vocabulary, the know-how to engage in conversation, and just be heard. Let their voices be heard and learn how to talk and how to read.
Which I think this is also great information for parents listening to Good Things, because you have kids, you have grandkids, you have nieces and nephews, and when you have them, they're little and you hugging them and you're loving on them, or you're even talking, and maybe that, cutesy little voicey, which has its place. But I think that intentional conversation, even if they can't talk back, I don't think we realize how important that is.
That's absolutely right. It's funny. My mom told me that I was being too hard on my child 14 years ago because I didn't do much baby talk. And it's cute and they cool and they smile. But the truth of the matter is we're doing them a disservice when we don't talk to them in regular talk. They need to hear these words so that when they begin talking, they have their vocabulary bank built up. They need to hear 21,000 words per day.
That's why they should tune into Good Things, because I bet we get those in an hour. Just turn on the radio and let them listen to me gab all day long. But kids sort of connect with things that they are into, and kids are interested in pups and animals. And so Rocky feels like he's going to be the best friends of all the kids in Mississippi. So how did Rocky sort of evolve? I know this is out of Talk from the Start, but the great minds there at the Children's Museum, which we now have a location in Meridian, which we're going to get to. When did y'all start thinking we need an exhibit of our own?
Sure. So this came out of a collaboration with the Children's Museum and the Barksdale Reading Institute. We are excellent and wonderful partners, and we decided to do the Talk from the Start public awareness campaign. So initially, it was simply that. It was simply a campaign to promote talking with and to children from birth. And out of the campaign and out of those ideas, we were like, well, we need a mascot for this campaign. We need a champion for this. Yeah. And then more of the idea, we're a children's museum. We believe in hands-on play and learning. And so we were like, we need an exhibit to go along with this as well. And so we created Rocky's House as well as Rocky's Friends. Rocky has some amazing friends that we hope Mississippi children will be able to look at and identify with. So we were very intentional about that.
And if you don't think that kids will have an impact through a mascot, think of Terrence the Rat, Reject All Tobacco. I mean, that's been around 20 plus years, still going strong in our schools, carrying that great message of Reject All Tobacco. And see, I remember it, right?
Exactly.
From school. And so hopefully our kids will have that same opportunity with Rocky, which is Talk from the Start, as well as parents, right?
That's right.
This is a learning point for parents.
Absolutely. That's the thing. We want the children to engage and have fun and create this love for talking and ultimately reading. But we want our adults in our community to know that we all have an obligation to children, whether they have children, had children that are now adults. If they see a child in a grocery store, it's okay to say something because we're helping them build that vocabulary and their word bank.
Okay, Monique, don't make it weird now. I feel like I have to get out intentional words or like sit down with my 2-year-old and talk very specifically, get the encyclopedia out early. So how can we incorporate this into our everyday life without it being now awkward?
Right. We don't want it to be weird. We want it to be natural, and it is natural. When we're riding in the car, let them talk about what they see or point out what we see. We see a red stop sign, or the light is red, or the light is green. Talk about the cars that they see. When we're walking through the store, talk to them about what we're doing. We're picking out apples. We're picking out oranges. Just regular conversation. You don't have to break out the dictionary and do a word a day or anything like that. It's really just when you're outside, being observant, talking about what you see, talking about why you see this or why this is a certain way. So we want it to be very natural, very normal. We don't want it to be weird at all.
You mentioned, Monique, having kids describe things in sort of their own way or whatever. That really challenges their brain to come up with different words and descriptive characteristics of things that, they may have never thought about before, which that's going to serve them well once they get to 3rd grade and 4th grade when they have to start doing that for a test. But as a dietitian, oftentimes I talk to parents about having picky eaters. If you can get kids to start describe the foods that they like and why, and then describe the foods if they don't like them, get them to describe to you why. Right. I mean, not only will it help you with more information, I know that's not what we're talking about today, but that also is a way to get them through understand their vocabulary and build on it with that. So you can always go a little deeper with your everyday sort of conversations.
And it gets them to also, we get descriptive, and then also we want them to use their imagination. So that's why a lot of books for babies may not have words. We have pictures because we want them to start telling their stories or processing things in their own way and talking about how it makes them feel or what they think it looks like. And so all of that is helping to build their vocabulary and build their word bank and ultimately become great readers.
I totally agree with that. And talking about diving deeper, y'all do that with the actual Rocky's House exhibit. I know right now for the next maybe week, it's still nestled right here in central Mississippi, but it's fixing to get on the road. Rocky's on the road. Yeah. So where is it going after it leaves the station here in Jackson?
Sure. So it'll be here we'll be here through spring break. So if anybody wants to come by the museum next week, it'll definitely be here in Jackson. Then it will go to our Meridian Museum in Meridian, Mississippi. And then we're going to the Mississippi Delta. We're going to Delta State University's Early Childhood Center for about a month, and then right now we're in talks to get it to the coast. So right now we've got Central Mississippi, East Mississippi, North Mississippi, and the coast is what we're working on in South Mississippi.
Now we overlook the fact that Rocky is his name, but he got a very special. There's a special story behind how Rocky got his name.
That's
Share that
right.
with us.
So I want to give a huge shout out to the students and staff at Span Elementary right here in Jackson, Mississippi. They helped name Rocky. We gave them a ballot with a list of options, and they voted for about a week. They dropped their votes in a ballot box, and Rocky won by a landslide. It was amazing, and they love it. They take pride and ownership in having helped name him.
And I have to say, when Rocky comes to greet the kids or has his moment on stage, Monique, there's got to be some Rocky music that sort of comes along with it.
Absolutely. We will cue the Rocky theme music from Rocky, and he loves it. And then the children and the chants and cheers that you hear as he's approaching it's infectious. Like, it's amazing when they get to see him coming through the door and they're cheering, Rocky, Rocky. And Rocky loves it. He loves it.
And I'm sure the parents love it, the kids love it. The underlying message, obviously, is something we can all get behind, which is just reading, and the fact that you can never get started on literacy too early, even if it feels strange. I know there's some that really dive into talking to the baby when it's in the womb and playing it music and sort of all of that. Yeah. And so you never can get too early of a start with reading, and you can do it with Rocky. What if we're not going to be in one of those locations, Monique? How do we get connected with Rocky?
Absolutely. And I did to leave off, we also will be at the Mississippi Book Festival in August. And so that's another opportunity. We'll be back in Jackson. But if anyone is interested, like around summer and fall for getting the exhibit or any pieces of the exhibit, they can visit our website, mschildrensmuseum.org. And on our website, we have a section for all of our traveling exhibits, including Rocky's House. And our staff will be notified, and we'll get back with them on how to get it.
And Monique, I know you mentioned the Children's Museum in Meridian. We hadn't had a chance to highlight that here on Good Things, so we're going to do that and spend a little bit more time with Rocky. So head on over to SuperTalk's Facebook page or supertalktv.com and meet Rocky, and we'll be back with more Good Things. Find out more. You can watch SuperTalk on your computer or your mobile device. You can watch it on Roku, Amazon Fire TV devices, even YouTube. You can now watch SuperTalk TV live. We are on C Spire TV on channel 70, right next to the Weather Channel. But the best way to catch the show today is over at supertalktv.com or maybe even over on Facebook. We are live there because I still have with me my friend Rocky the Reader. We hope you just got introduced to him, and Monique, the Director of Education for Mississippi's Children's Museum. And you'll see that we have on these great blue glasses. And at first, Monique, you would have looked like it's just rocking it and matching you well. Now I've put mine on. It looks a little fun. We'll use those. We'll use those just descriptive languages today. But it's all to sort of help the kids connect back to Rocky, who has on his blue glasses as well. So where did the blue glasses come from?
Yeah. So when we were creating Rocky, we wanted to again, all of this we want children to identify with. So we gave him glasses because number one, they just look amazing. We gave him a backpack, but we also want children to know who may have any type of vision impairments that it's okay. It's okay if you wear your glasses. And Rocky rocks these really cool blue glasses, and so we made some, and the children have loved them. Adults love them, and so we want, when people see these blue glasses, we want them to think about Rocky and think about Talk from the Start.
Which I think is a good thing. Okay, the Children's Museum. Mississippi's Children's Museum has always been centrally located. I know it was a multi-year project, multi-million-dollar. It's been here for a while. Families flock from all over. It is a success story from every sense of the imagination. And it finally got another location, which was in Meridian. Now, how long has it been there in Meridian, the second location?
Yep, so we've been here in Jackson for 11 years, and we will be celebrating our 1-year birthday in Meridian on March 26th. So we've been open for 1 year almost. Yeah.
So why, I mean, not why Meridian, but like why Meridian? Sure. Like, I mean, of all the places that could have been chosen to put the next step for the museum, what made Meridian the right choice?
Well, first of all, there have been so many other cities around the state who have come and asked about a museum, and I think anywhere would be deserving of a museum. I think we should, if we could, we'd love to have them all over the state, of course, but we know that's just not feasible. But when Meridian approached our leadership, when the Meridian community approached our leadership, they were just as passionate. Our leadership saw in them what they saw in themselves and the people who founded our Jackson location, the passion for children, for families, for providing a safe space for children and families to be. And they were just very enthusiastic and very passionate about it and eager to get started. And so we jumped in.
You jumped in, and I guess the 1 year would have been opening. You couldn't have predicted that there would have been a global pandemic, which slowed down everything, but it's still open cautiously, and it's been going for over a year. Is it mirror image of the one in Jackson, or does it have its own exhibits, its own creativity specific to that particular area of the state?
It has its own identity. It is totally different. The only thing that mirrors Jackson, we have a new space in Jackson called Wonderbox, which is our STEM gallery and maker space. And so we have Wonderbox in both locations. But it is East Mississippi centric. It highlights aviation. And then in Jackson, we have the gastroclimber, which talks about the digestive system and all of that. In Meridian, we focus on the brain. So our initiatives are the same because for an institution, we focus focus on health, we focus on literacy, we focus on STEM and art and expression. So all of that is the same, but the experiences are different. We focus on the railroads in East Mississippi and the music from East Mississippi. So we want the children and families in East Mississippi to feel proud and see their history represented when they go into this space.
So that means if you're visiting Mississippi, which is what we encourage folks to do here on Good Things, Monique, and we want you to visit the Rocky House exhibit wherever it comes to your town, that means that even though you think you've been to the Children's Museum once, if you find yourself in Meridian, then you should still, and you have your kids with you, take the time to go and explore, because it'll be a completely new experience for them there. I think that's pretty cool. Now, the main events, you mentioned this coming up weekend. There's a big NASA event happening Saturday in Central Mississippi. You know, I'm a space nerd out on that. Is that also mirrored in Meridian?
It is. So our major events across our institution, we're mirroring in both locations. And so this weekend, we just had Seuss Day, Dr. Seuss's silly birthday celebration 2 weeks ago in both locations. And this weekend, we do have NASA Day. And so in both locations, we have exhibit pieces from Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. We will have representatives from Stennis Space Center on the coast in both locations, and we'll have activities going on in both locations for children.
Which I think is something parents should take advantage of, and also, too, looking to spring break in the summer. I know families are always looking for fun outings, day outings, but then also day camps. I know that's big here centrally. Will Meridian also offer those opportunities for kids to have extended camp opportunities?
Yep. So this week, this week coming up, next week, spring break week is our week of wonder, and so we have programming going on in both locations and here in Jackson. And yes, we'll have camps and day camps in both locations as well,
which is something for parents to take advantage of.
Absolutely.
And memberships are so small compared to the amount of time and that you can spend there and the education that your kids can get. But you know, even if you don't want a membership, just a one-time stop with the grandkids or to see it can be worth the afternoon as well. Okay, so if you're just tuning in and you're over at SuperTalk TV or maybe scrolling through Facebook and you go, okay, this is the first time I'm seeing a pup here on Good Things. This is my friend Rocky. He is Rocky the Reader, and he is encouraging our kids to get started reading, as well as parents from the start. You mentioned he has other friends. Will Rocky have books of his own and, you know, things for us to sort of continue our relationship with Rocky?
Absolutely. That is definitely our plan. Our plan is not just to stop here. Rocky has friends, and the exhibit has 3 book components to it: read with me, talk with me, and play with me. And so we're prepared to start writing Rocky's adventures and creating some board books and things for children to enjoy.
Monique, we had a texter who said, I guess therapists told them who have a child with dyslexia that blue helps with their reading. So the glasses connected to dyslexia in any way?
Yep, absolutely. Like I said,
our smart listener, you connecting those dots. Yeah. And I know that's, you know, a big hurdle and frustration for a lot of families, and it's real life. And I know Rocky can't cover all the spectrums of that, but does that help? I mean, is that a place for parents to start if
Absolutely.
they need to?
And we also want people to know we have our website, talkfromthestart.org, and so we'll be constantly uploading and updating that website with resources for parents. And if there are things on there that they want to see, they're welcome to reach out to the museum staff so that we can connect them with any partners that we may have. We want children and we want parents to be able to identify with this and to be able to receive any type of support that they need to receive for their children.
And I know the Children's Museum already has a mascot, or I guess has a mascot, and that would be
Louis LaFleur.
So is Louis LaFleur and Rocky BFF?
They are good friends. We have some graphics with both of them together. They don't compete with one another.
I think though some friendly competition down the way wouldn't hurt at all when it comes to a good cause smiles and the good things you guys are doing for kids. Okay, I'm excited. Again, running back to the fact that this is a traveling exhibit. It's here centrally for one more week, but you're going on the road. You're hitting up Meridian next. So where do families go back, Monique, to find those times and dates of the exhibit?
Yep. So you can visit talkfromthestart.org, and you can also visit mschildrensmuseum.org and find information on either one of those sites.
We want your kids to get out and meet Rocky. So,
Absolutely.
Rocky, do you like to read? Thumbs up, thumbs down. 2 thumbs up for that. Do you like kids? Be honest.
I love them.
Hey, absolutely loves them. I hope you've taken time to head over and meet our friend Rocky. If not, you'll be able to snag this back on YouTube shortly after Good Things wraps up, as well as anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You'll be able to meet Rocky. Go ahead and take this opportunity and introduce your kids to Rocky as well. I know many of you may have already picked up your kids in the car rider line. You're probably not watching Facebook.
Hope not.
Well, you may be while you're in the line, but hopefully not. Why? But I think this will be a good friend for a lot of families.
Absolutely.
Throughout Mississippi. So, Rocky, I look forward to you meeting my girls. I'm not sure which one will love you the most. We're dog people at the house.
Good.
So you look sweet and cuddly and all things fun. And they're going to fight over my blue glasses. So, you brought some. See, that's good. All righty. Well, thank you, ladies. And Rocky.
Thank you.
I was assuming
Thank you for having us.
Rocky was a lady. But you know what? Rocky, you rock, whatever.
Rock. That's right.
You
Rocky.
rock.
Thank
Stick
you.
with us. We got more for you coming up next.